No.
What is that?
Oh, here comes
All
Dean.
right. Hey, what?
Dean, you got Abby's fan club here.
Yeah, Abby, how are you in two different rooms at the same time?
We got 3 different rooms.
That is, Abby, you and your sister look exactly alike. Are you the same age?
No,
What? Who's older? Who's younger?
I'm older.
You're older. That is remarkable how similar you guys look. That's amazing. How we doing, everybody? Mr. Joe, looking good. The only time I've seen you without skates on your feet. How are things?
I am very well. Thank you for asking.
Excellent, excellent. Trig, how you doing, buddy?
Good.
Good, good, good. And we've got another Devro. Is that Uncle Peter?
No.
It is.
It
Oh,
is.
it is Petey.
Yep.
Oh, it's Christine.
All right. Wow. Yeah, we got the fan club showing up. All right. And
Grandma.
and grandmother, fantastic. Welcome. Welcome. Now my question is Peter the one that works with Clean Harbors? No. Okay.
No.
That would be our Uncle Eric.
That's Uncle Eric. Okay. We're going to have to tap him for some knowledge on the next round. Miss Gwen, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm awesome.
Good. Yes, you are. Let me pull up one thing here. Okay. Everyone is tuning in on time, and all right. And we're gonna always do a little bit of a little pause just to wait for everybody to join up. I'm gonna pull up something that I want to show you all a little bit later. All right. Now we have folks from all over. We have a special VIP from Alaska, Miss Heather, who is a former teacher of Gwen's and present teacher of my son's. We've got Jane Odysseus, rally car driver. Nice. And Burpee. I just said it out loud. I heard it. Burpee. I did a couple of those in my workout this morning. All right. All right. And our student mentor, Miss Elizabeth, chiming in from the fair state of Pennsylvania. Wonderful. This is terrific. What a party. Good. Trig, how you doing out there in Minnesota? Did you guys get slammed with that cold yesterday?
No, it wasn't. It's not cold here. It's pretty warm out.
Well, it's like -10 only, right?
No, it's
Balmy
like
for Minnesota.
30 out, 30
Yeah.
degrees.
That's like t-shirt weather in Minnesota. That's awesome. All right, good. Well, for the rest of us East Coasters, we got slammed yesterday. It was some frigid temperatures. Wonderful. Are we waiting on any other guests? We've got people are showing up. This is fantastic.
Wait, is that Ellie?
No, I'll just be 1 second.
Okay, and we're socially responsible with the face mask, even on Zoom. Respect. You can never be too careful. I love it.
Oh my god, she's at the gym.
All right, good. And Trig, is your mother on the line?
No, I told her not to come.
Oh, really? Well, guess what, everybody?
Wow.
This, and I should say this as a disclaimer, this is being recorded. So perhaps Mom will get a chance to see it later. So I think, are all the invited guests present, team? Only the students can really kind of answer that.
For me, I think that everyone is here.
Yeah,
Like,
and I
Your
don't.
grandfather's not on yet.
Oh, no, my other grandmother just logged on.
Great. We've got every single branch of the DeVroe family tree on the line. That's awesome. See, this is particularly fun for me because at least on the parent level, I know all three families here. I didn't anticipate quite an extended branch of every family. I'm so excited for that. Great. Well, let's get things started. For those of you who are not on Zoom all day, a quick tip might be to try to mute yourselves just so that you don't wind up getting a dog barking in the background and that'll interrupt the presentation. There will be a time to unmute yourself after this presentation is done where we can pepper these fine students with questions or accolades or comments, whatever you feel is appropriate. And there we go. Somebody else just chimed in.
That's my
Ah,
brother and grandmother.
Mr. Purnell, how are you, sir?
I am very well and very excited to figure out how I can start a new company.
Oh, we have got the investment for you, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
gonna turn my mic off after I say
Yeah.
we will send you we'll send you account and routing number later. But in the meantime, I am going to give the power vested in this finger by Zoom and just very impolitely mute anybody if they accidentally are unmuted. Okay, so forgive me. It's just logistical. All right, let's get started. My name is Dean Bragonier. I am the founder, but more importantly, the executive dyslexic of Noticeability, which is the nonprofit organization that has created the course that these three fine young folks have just completed or are about to complete. As you can hear from my title, I am one of the tribe. I am a proud, outspoken dyslexic. And it took me many years to get to that point. My mission is to allow and to facilitate students to realize the benefits of dyslexia much faster than I did and spend, quite frankly, waste less time functioning under the misconception that this is simply a disadvantage in certain academic areas, namely reading, etc. So my job is not to teach these fine students to read. Lord knows we all spend enough time and money doing that. And thank God there are reading remediation specialists. And thank God these three students have gotten the attention that they need and deserve. But unfortunately, or fortunately, we are the only people, it appears, creating content that actually highlights the cognitive advantages of dyslexia. Neuroscience is now revealing that dyslexics have a whole portfolio of cognitive assets that, when properly harnessed and exercised, give us disproportionate rates of success in certain professional paths. Many, but the four that we've chosen to concentrate on are entrepreneurship, engineering, architecture, and the arts. We've got a lot of Massachusetts people here. You may know that they call dyslexia the MIT disease. Just proof of concept right there. Engineers, best engineering university in the world probably, chock full of dyslexics. 35% of all the entrepreneurs that you'll ever encounter have dyslexia as well. So start to see a correlation emerging. Now, what we're going to do is eventually I will quiet down. It takes me a long time. I spent far too many years thinking that I had nothing important to say because I was operating under a false impression that I was stupid and broken. Be careful what you wish for. Now I just can't stop talking. But the point is this, that you're going to hear from these three folks, and we're going to unleash the power of Zoom to have you contribute your thoughts and questions, etc., after they have presented. Then I will pull out my soapbox once again, get on top, give a spiel, and then we really abruptly end these Zooms because it gets kind of awkward because we all just kind of stare at each other. So that's how it's going to kind of roll out, all right? Now, this has been an awesome group, partly because I already know all their families, and that makes it a special experience for me, but also because this is a really diverse team, okay? We've got Abby, who is our youngest member by, I think, about 2 years, who is arguably, she's a shoo-in, shall we say, for some Olympic female hockey team. Keep an eye out for this woman. Just remember, Massachusetts Abby, okay? You'll see her when she was this age, and you can say, I know that woman. We have the Maradona of Massachusetts soccer players in Miss Gwen, also a globetrotter, very environmental, socially conscious young woman. And then we have Trig, who is from Minnesota, who is an avid angler, a man that spends a ton of time in the outdoors. And strangely enough, I guarantee you've never heard this before, he is what's called an urban explorer. Apparently, a lot of our cities are built on these old sewer systems that are large enough for human beings, no longer being used as sewage, I might add, for human beings to like explore these labyrinth of underground tunnels. Trig is one of those explorers, and as you will see, is a bit of a content expert as it applies to this team's innovation. You guys ready? You guys
I
ready?
think we are.
I'm about to tee this up. Last thing I want to say is special thanks to our friend Elizabeth. Elizabeth, who's wearing that tie-dye sweatshirt down there in whatever box she's appearing in. Elizabeth went through this class with me about 2 or 3 months ago, and as we do with our exemplary students, we invite them to come back and be peer mentors. Really empowering opportunity. Now they know what's going on and they can tease out certain aspects of the course in a way that only a peer can, as opposed to a man with a salt and pepper beard who may be dyslexic but just isn't as hip as he used to be. So thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you for being a part of it. All right, folks. So Gwen, are you screen sharing?
I am.
You're driving the train?
Mm-hmm.
Without further ado, I'm going mute. The platform is yours.
All right. Trig, do you want to introduce?
This is the Clean Water Maker by
Gwen.
Abby,
and Trig.
So what's the problem? Well, the problem is that there's trash and oil going into drains, polluting lakes, oceans, and rivers.
what does this mean? This means these pollutions cause animals to die. In addition, the food chains are also getting mixed up. Animals dying, going extinct, making fishing harder for fishermen.
Imagine this. Walking along the beach, the sand touching your feet, looking out at the magnificent sunset. You look down to see the tide coming in, but what you mostly see is trash and thick, heavy, dark oil. You look a little ways away to see fish soaking in oil, dead.
One day I was fishing on a dock and I thought I caught a great fish. It was giant. And when I reeled it in, it was half white. Its eyes were white. It was moving very slow and scales were off. I've also caught a fish with this plastic ring on it. It looked like this.
Did you know that 100 million marine animals die each year from plastic waste alone? 100,000 marine animals die from getting entangled in plastic yearly. This is just creatures we find. 1 in 3 marine animal species get found entangled in litter. 12 to 14,000 tons of plastic are ingested by North Pacific fish yearly. Did you know that more than half the population of our world's protein source is from the ocean? 4.6 billion people out of 7.6 billion people rely on ocean and lakes and rivers for their protein source. That's 60% of our population. The proteins that are most common are fish, oysters, mussels, octopus, and other animals in our oceans. 70% of deep sea fish that have eaten plastic. 55% of fish species we have found with microplastics in their gastral tract. 100 different species of anchovies found have consumed microplastics.
The clean water maker. This mechanism cleans storm drain water.
It cleans out all the trash and oil going into
Our
our
lakes, rivers, and oceans. This pad right here collects all the oil from going down into our oceans, lakes, and rivers. The solution. Humans release about 210 million gallons of petroleum a year into the seas. And the report said, while natural seepage adds 100 million gallons. But there are 3,000 catch basins in Boston, 25,000 catch basins in San Francisco, and New York City has 135,000 sewer catch basins. Well, even though it's not the exact amount of oil that comes out of New York, Boston, San Francisco drain, I do have the world. And New York City has a lot of drains, and that's only the city. Just think about it. That's a lot. So if you put the clean water maker, it has an oil pad that stops the oil from getting into our water, so it stops all that oil.
more information. We anticipate that on a heavy rain month, we'll only need to replace the unit once a month. Revenue. In New York City alone, there's 135,000 storm drains. Say we change the unit once every month. You would sell 1.6 million units in that city alone per year. That's a lot of money.
The materials for the clean water maker. Steel chain, bolt hangers, and cement nails.
These are just some sources where we found our information from.
Thank you. Let's keep our waters clean with our clean water maker.
You guys, look at that. That is uproarious applause around the horn. Look, you get somebody's raising the roof down there. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Well done. Well done. How do you feel right now? A little bit of relief? We're done? We're good?
Yeah, it's a nice feeling to like present something and then feel really good about it.
Yeah, and you're done. That's the best part, right? You crushed it. You got it out. All right, look, I can go on, and I'm burning up time for all these 85 million people on the line to think of something that they want to say or ask a question, but I first have to shout out right at the beginning, this is 3 dyslexics on the line who came up with this genius idea, but also who chose to read out loud in front of an audience. You would never get this dyslexic to do that, not even today. The only person that hears me read is my son, and he's very forgiving. So I want to give you a shout out. That was a very, very bold choice to go about it, and you crushed it. And by the way, Abby, It's gastrointestinal. I can't even believe you tried to tackle that word. That's an absurd word, gastrointestinal. I don't even use it because I'm afraid I can't even pronounce it right. Way to go on that. Guys, your analysis, you know, what we have gone through here, and this was developed, you know, in conjunction with Harvard and MIT, all the big boys, right? We've gone through the entrepreneurial process of identifying a problem and seeing it as an opportunity in disguise, right? And coming up with this amazing solution and then analyzing not only how it functions and how it works, but what our market is going to look like, what our customer persona looks like, and how we're going to market to them, and how are we going to generate revenue based on the solution that we've created. And what I love about working with dyslexics is there's two things that are always predictable. First and foremost, they always come up with awesome, innovative ideas. That goes without saying. But the second thing, and I believe this is because we understand what it feels like sometimes to be on the outside, sort of ostracized a little bit. I believe we cultivate a deep sense of compassion and awareness for not only others around us, but the world at large. And it amazes me how you have tackled something that affects millions of people that you will never meet, yet your minds were functioning in a way that chose to address something much larger than, oh, you know, my hockey skate always breaks before a big game. That's a legitimate, that's a great problem. But you chose to address something that is massive and global in scale. And that indicates not only ingenuity, creativity, but also compassion. And that's why I get so excited working with students with you, like you. Now, I've burned up a lot of time. Now I'm going to open up to the audience and hear comments, thoughts, questions. Don't make me call on somebody. Go ahead, Elizabeth.
As somebody who was dyslexic way before it was cool to be dyslexic, or even to have being identified as dyslexic, I'm particularly pleased that these three people had a chance to show that they were actually smart and not dumb, or in the back of the class kind of thing. I think you guys are all smart. And there was a time in my life when my brain clicked on and I could start to compete in intellectual, thoughtful ways. And I wish it had been when I was your age. So good for you. Thank you so much for this idea. And I've got $3.80 that I want to invest in this company.
Sir, thank you so much for saying that. And I will tip the hat out of respect for the journey that you must have gone through, because dyslexia when you were a student was often referred to as word blindness, and the treatment of students with dyslexia was 100 times worse than it was in my generation, and still that was worse than what these kids are experiencing. But we are so far from where it needs to be, where we can recognize the attributes of our brilliance as opposed to just being constantly exposed to what we are challenged with. So thank you for paving the way for all of us. Any other comments? Elizabeth, you were going to say something, weren't you?
Yeah, I think you guys did amazing. That was a great presentation.
And she should know. She's been in the hot seat before.
Thank you.
Oh, look, we got hands being raised. Okay, Miss Heather from Alaska.
Hello from Alaska. First, I would love to say that you folks engaged me. The level of detail, right, that you had, I can't even grab all of those statistics right now. But that level of detail, and my jaw just kept dropping a little bit, right? And you pulled me in by identifying something that mattered to me. You talked about how 60% of people get their protein from the ocean, right? And that's me. So suddenly what you were talking about wasn't just this idea out here, but it was, oh, wow, wait a minute. You're talking about something that affects me. And I want to identify that to all of you. It seems like you maybe honed in and really thought about your audience and how to make this stick. So that is one comment that I had. And then I have a question. We'll see who feels brave enough, how you're all going to tackle this one. But my question was, this is such a great idea. And you talked about revenue, and I was wondering who, and maybe I missed it in the presentation, who are you marketing to specifically with this device?
I think that when we talked about this, I think Abby had a really good way that she said this. I can back you up on this, but I think that you can say this very well.
Oh, you're on mute.
Mayors, government, and people who control like students. Like, who came up with that idea for a grade? Like, who put it in? People like, yeah, it's like city councilors.
I can kind of back her up on that. Yeah, I think that Abby said that really well. It's kind of like the mayors of cities, the mayor or the people in like huge cities like New York. They have 135,000 storm drains, and that gets polluted into ocean, lakes, and rivers, probably into like, I'm not sure actually, and so that will like harm a bunch of sea life. That will harm fishermen in like a bunch of places. Like for Trig's case, he loves to fish, and he saw that fish that had like a bottle cap in the fish or something around its body, and it grew around it, and it doesn't make good fish to eat. So it kind of like, it's like mayors think about this and are like, oh, we need to get that. We need to buy that product to be able to use it and to have clean, good food for our town or our state.
Wow.
Thank you.
And those mayors, they need to get reelected. And if they're taking care of the waterways, they're winning over a good voting population. Miss, I'm not going to pronounce your name Miss Gretchen. Can I say Miss Gretchen? Oh, you're on mute, but I can't wait to hear what you say.
Yeah, I am Gwenny's grandmom,
Oh,
one
cool.
of them. What I want to say is the visual aspect of your presentation was awesome. And I think one way to promote that would be just the pictures you had of the fish like this. Or I cut those things up diligently every time, those 6-pack things. I think about those fish or any of those critters that might get caught in that. And then I saw that picture, I was like, I'm going to do that forever. So I think all of those images that you use were really pertinent to what you're trying to say.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
good job. All you guys, good job.
Thanks. To kind of like talk about that a little bit more, I think like as like being a dyslexic and just even a person that doesn't have dyslexia, you see things very and like feel them with like visually. And so for me, how I learn is visually mostly. And so as like a person, you if you see something, you really like you feel it. If there's enough description, you'll feel it. But if it just says, and the fish was in oil, there's not much description. So I think our team really did well putting in pictures and kind of like showing everything that really we wanted to point out. So kudos to our team.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely kudos.
Absolutely. Thank you, Gretchen. Mr. Peter, I see your hand raised. Can I just, Miss Susan Odysseus, did you have a comment, or were you just giving a thumbs up to Gwen? Oh, you might be on mute still.
Both. Congratulations, but I also had a comment and a question. You guys did such a great job. I'm so impressed. Poor Gwen, I'm the other grandmother, I'm G-Mom. And she gets it from both sides of the family. How tough is that? we didn't have labels for dyslexia when I was growing up. I was in college and I was in a sociology class and I'd read stuff and I go, what the heck was that? I knew I was in trouble, but I worked very hard to hide it. And you talked about the gifts that people with this, you figure out how to do workarounds, but it takes a lot of energy and a lot of effort. And so I appreciate all that Gwenny has done. I've seen her since she was a placid, docile little sweet girl coming into a self-confident soccer player, doing the right thing, being kind. I mean, I'm so proud of her. It's a little boring, I guess, but I'm loving it. The other thing is a question. Obviously, a lot of research had to go into this final product. And I'm wondering, did you get a lot of help from your leader, or did you figure out where to go for the research yourselves? And did you get help?
I think that Abby and Trig have two things that I can highlight also, but Abby and Trig, do you want to say something?
Yeah, we didn't really get a lot of help from Dean over there, but we went and like searched up websites and there were articles and yeah, a lot of stats and that too.
For the materials, I went through Amazon and looked up like different words, and like for the clips to get into to hook up the water cleaner, I had to look up different terms to find that, and also the nails to get the cement.
For both Abby and Trig's case, I would be like looking up something and I'll be like slowly saying it out loud or whatever. And then in like 0.2 seconds, Abby will have like the article already copied and pasted into the slideshow. And I'm like, how did you get that so quickly? And it happened to me so many times that at this point, I'm like, Abby, can you just look this up? So that's just kind of like how our research kind of happened. And also Trig's been like, he's an urban explorer. So that's like a key piece to like looking under tunnels, seeing how it is, the dimensions and stuff like that.
Got answers, not even from top of his head.
Peter, I'm going to come to you next. Mrs. Susan, you know, as first and foremost, you know, I'm not I'm not a negligent teacher, but what we actually want to do is make sure that everything that you saw was produced 100% by them. And part of what we get to do as the instructors is take a backseat role, because as a person with dyslexia, I became so numb to the sage on the stage model, as it's referred to in education. The teacher just wags the finger and tells you all the things you've got to memorize. And like you said in your sociology, what? You don't get it. But if you do it, you retain it. And the way this team fleshed out their talents, I mean, literally, Abby has got a faster return rate on searching information than Google does. And then she would find something and Trig would say, I'm not sure if those dimensions to stormwater drains are accurate. I'm going to go out into the street and pull up a grate and get into it and measure. And for my own safety as an organization, I said, please do not do that. I don't need that liability. But the point was, he did on his own. The beautiful thing was there was a mixture of research online, real life experience, and then Gwen would create this cohesion that would sort of bring all of that information into this whirlpool of what you just saw.
One more question.
Yeah.
Have they formed an LLC yet?
Just waiting for some seed capital, Miss Susan. Little seed capital goes a long way. And I'll also say that thank you for sharing with us that you're dyslexic. I would say how fortunate Gwen is to be getting it from both sides. That almost sounds like a purebred stature, which is something that my son has. My wife is dyslexic. The other thing is just doing some approximate math. I think of those who have verbally identified as dyslexic. We're at about 45 to 50%, coming up on 50% of this entire group online right now is dyslexic. So these are the kind of ratios that I love. Mr. Peter, thank you for your patience. You had a comment.
Hey, I just wanted to say congratulations. I think this was a wonderful presentation. It took a lot of courage to come out and especially read in front of an audience, especially people you don't know. This definitely touched me in a couple of different ways. One, a huge fisherman. I think Abby knows that. I fish all over the world, and it's definitely good to see that we keep the fish populations up. Secondly, with respect to selling, some of the advanced selling skills was mentioned, specifically around the emotional selling. It's actually called emotive selling, and people teach this around the world as to how to better get your presentations, and they did it so purely and so innocently that they didn't even realize that this is taught around the world as elite selling mechanism. So it's something that I found was very unique. And I just wanted to say too, not only am I proud, but I think that if they presented this to the true Shark Tank, I'm not sure if they know this, but Damon John is dyslexic, and he actually credits it for his own success in life, building FUBU, building his empire. You can look it up, but he's definitely there, and he's an advocate for this as well. So congratulations.
Peter, that's such wonderful insight. Thank you. Folks, that almost sounds like that was a plant, right? Like I almost put Peter on the line to say how sophisticated your selling actually is. I haven't met Peter yet. I'm happy to have now. I never met the guy. He inferred that from your presentation. That's big deal stuff. That's professional stuff. Okay. And Mr. Peter, guess what else? Barbara Corcoran, as well as Mr. Wonderful, also dyslexic.
Mm-hmm.
We're chock full. We're everywhere. Thank you for that keen insight. And I think that you and Trig need to connect, because that guy he's a diehard fisherman just like you. Miss Heather, did you have a question as well? Another one, or is your hand still raised? Oh, from before. Okay. I thought she was going to question our sources, and because she's a consummate teacher and she stresses sources with my son as she does with Gwen, they are in there for you, Miss Heather. They're in there for you.
Thank you. You read right there, right in the mind.
Yep.
You can go check them out. I promise you, they're valid.
Yep.
I noticed as well that you didn't just pick up information, but if things were written in your own words, and where it was you referenced. So noted.
Nice.
I learned from the many emails. Rewrite this. It's not your own words.
Oh, my son will be happy to hear that you also got those emails. Good. That's what makes you so good, Heather. Okay, kind of coming to a close. Oh, Miss Jane O, aka Jane Purnell. What do you have?
I just was curious from each kid, from Abby and Trig and Gwen, just one thing that you learned that you didn't know before you did this program with Dean.
I can quickly start because I brainstormed this. She has asked me this a few times. During the summertime during COVID, I started this little entrepreneur baking business. So I've had these little skills that were starting to grow, but doing this program, I really have developed my skills, and they've gotten stronger. If you go to the gym, you keep getting stronger each day. If you work on this, you'll get stronger. And so this entrepreneur program has definitely strengthened these skills and developed some new ones. So that's for me.
Nice.
For me, it was probably selling skills and who is your buyer. How are you gonna put in your dyslexic skills into entrepreneurial? Because you've seen all these people who just turn out to be amazing entrepreneurs and innovators and do great things. How are you going to take those skills and put it into like what like your project? So,
Nice. Thank you.
This class, because I have like some entrepreneur ideas and it's helped me want to pursue them more.
Nice. Speaking of which, Trig has got a fishing lure company in his mind. So maybe you should chat with Peter. The guy knows something about selling. Just a connection. So excellent. I don't want to shortchange anybody. If anybody had any last thoughts or questions, but
Yeah, I
Oh,
actually
yeah.
have to.
oh
I,
yeah,
I
sure.
wrote- I jot down this little thing on a piece of paper. So if you see me looking over there, it's because I jot it down. But I just wanted to like thank you, Dean, and my whole team for like really like doing this program and finishing it out. And I learned so much, and it was so nice to be like a part of a team, like especially like when it comes to like this type of thing, and us all being dyslexics and having something that we struggle on, but it being able to do something like use our skills that we have that are really strong, especially from being dyslexic, and kind of putting them together and creating this awesome invention. So thank you guys.
Gwen, it's me who is thanking you. You got to understand something about this, is that this is an opportunity for me to recognize so much about my own struggle, and to see you and Trig and Abby find a sense of pride and confidence in your abilities makes me look back on the 20, 30 years that I spent believing that I wasn't worth anything. You're giving me the gift because you're realizing that you are very powerful now at your age, which means you got a lifetime to exercise these strengths and knock the socks off of people that you meet. Coach Joe, you had a comment there, buddy.
Yeah, well, I have a couple of comments, but I'll go quick. One was, I just completed a master's program where I watched people in their 20s buckle at being able to present in front of other people, right? So very similar to you with the slide decks and being able to articulate, your idea, your product, and what the actual end game will be. So I thought that was fantastic. And again, people who are 25 to 30 have trouble doing this in front of other people. So your practice now is only going to prepare you for each year as you progress. So you should be very proud of yourselves for that. The second comment I had was more for you, Dean, which is, why do I not see any merchandise representing how cool dyslexia is in any of these windows? So particularly,
That's like wardrobe failure. What is my problem? I should be head to toe in this stuff. You're absolutely right. I should take a marketing class.
that's right. Or you should potentially listen to your kids who obviously know how to market and sell. So it was really that sometimes the student is the teacher.
Yes, as my son often reminds me. Thank you so much. Thank you, Coach Joe. I appreciate it. And Miss Rachel has got a hand up.
Yeah, I just wanted to say I thought it was a wonderful presentation. I'm really proud of these kids. I've been listening vicariously through Trig for the past number of weeks on what you guys have been working on. It's been really exciting to hear, but as a parent who is dyslexic and has watched my dyslexic son struggle at education, despite having so many more things than you or I did when we were growing up, Dean. It's been amazing to see how you've drawn him out and how you've engaged their entrepreneurial minds and spirits and built their confidence. It's absolutely amazing. I'm so excited for these kids, and they did a thorough job researching their topic and presenting it in a way that really caught us all from a point of interest. Well done, all of you. Well done.
Thank you, Rachel. That means a lot. Thank you so much. As somebody who is fully committed to the dyslexic movement, that means a lot to me. Thank you for saying that. And I want to go over to Miss Jessica, but Abby, could you lean in towards the camera a little bit better? A little bit closer. Okay, tilt it down. What does that say? What is that? Oh, dyslexic before it was cool. Man, that's some good merchandise.
I'm
Thank
gonna
you.
run downstairs and get my shirt.
All right. Thank you, Coach Joe, for the plant with his daughter. Thank you. Miss Jessica, did you have something to share?
Well, Emery and I just wanted to say
congratulations for like putting this whole project together and working really hard on it.
and I just wanted to say I've been watching, when they are preparing for it, and they've just been very excited.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for bringing a tear to the eye. Thank you. And Abby, your sister's name again is
Emery.
Amory?
Emery.
Emery, you've got a heck of an older sister, and if you turn out to have the gift of dyslexia, I fully expect you to be in my class soon. All right? So let's wrap this up. This has been wonderful for me. This has been wonderful for me, and I hope it's been a pleasure for all of you. The couple of logistical things, Trig, Gwen, Abby, please, if you would, take 10 more minutes to fill out the post survey. It just lets us know if we're doing our job well, okay? Second thing is we will be extending an invitation to all of you to join our Facebook alumni page, where we post cool things. Like sometimes, master's students want to create like the ideal classroom for students with dyslexia. We post that and you can participate in stuff like that. Or we've got a company that's creating like a virtual reality classroom, and they say, we want to hear what some dyslexic students think of it. And we'll share that opportunity. So you get to be involved actually in giving feedback to real life companies that are up and operating. Second thing is, like Elizabeth, I'd like to extend the invitation to all of you to come back as peer mentors. You would be excellent in mentoring other students. Third thing is we are starting to ramp up our other classes for remote delivery, which means our engineering and architecture curriculum are coming soon. And our arts-based curriculum is actually being offered and is active right now. But I know you three, every time it came to something artistic, you're like, no, not me. Okay, so perhaps engineering and architecture. I still don't believe that you're not artists, but I'll take your word for it. Before I get on my soapbox, I want to show you something very, very interesting. And remember, for everybody on the line, yeah, we're talking about entrepreneurship, but our goal is to really just help students with dyslexia understand where those cognitive advantages lie within the context of a profession like entrepreneurship. One of the things we don't do is we don't put any guardrails. We don't contain the ideas. Ironically, one of our good friends, remember the plastic guy I was telling you guys about? Remember the plastic guy? Check out what he sent me. And this should be taken as the utmost vote of confidence in what you've created. I'm going to screen share. He just sent me this. This is a real life company that has created something remarkably similar to what you all have come out with. So if you ever doubt whether or not your ideas can be real, somebody's off built a company doing exactly what you guys came up with. So every time you think of a cool idea, don't dismiss it, because that other guy, he got to it first, but you've got a spring of ideas between your ears. That's what dyslexics do. So I look at you three. I hope you will stay part of the noticeability family, but I need you to understand this. This is really serious. You three have very bright futures ahead of you. I know that because I know you now. And one of the things that I need you to understand is that as you go on to be the successes that you will become, I need you to remember that it has, in large part, due to the fact that you see the world in a unique way. And that is what dyslexia gives you. And the more you can talk about with confidence, as Elizabeth has started to. Elizabeth never spoke about her dyslexia. And now she started speaking about her dyslexia, and people who are dyslexic that she didn't know about are gravitating to her for support. You are becoming leaders in a movement. This is about civil rights. We all deserve equal opportunity at education and a bright future. And you are leaders now in that field. And the more people hear you're successful and you're dyslexic, the faster they will adjust their understanding of what dyslexia is. And the faster our companies and our workforce places will become more hospitable, meaning more embracing of dyslexics, and the better our schools will become at embracing and supporting dyslexics. So I task you with that responsibility, okay? You guys are incredible. I've enjoyed this so much. Thank you for being a part of this. And remember that awkward silence that I said where we ended abruptly? This is the beginning of that awkward silence. You guys are terrific. Thank you, amazing families, for showing up and supporting.
Job, guys.
All right.
Great job. Great job.
Dean. You're
Thanks,
awesome.
everybody. You guys are
I
great.
want to know who counted all the cash
Awesome.
basins.
Awesome.
All right.
Bye,
See you
everybody.
all soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.